Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of information, cut through the noise, and distill it into the most important nuggets of knowledge for you. Today, we're diving deep into the latest Azure service updates from the week of September 8th to September 12th, 2025. This summary was just generated yesterday, September 14th, so these are truly fresh insights. We know you're busy navigating the ever-evolving cloud landscape, so our mission is really to highlight what truly matters for your technical work, giving you that shortcut to being well-informed.
That's absolutely right. I mean, the pace of innovation in cloud services is just incredible, isn't it? And staying on top of these weekly updates can honestly feel like a full-time job sometimes. But we've got a fantastic selection this week. We're touching on pretty much everything from significant database enhancements and new compute options right through to identity management, and also some crucial retirements you'll need to be aware of for your long-term planning. We'll be looking at what's generally available, what's in public preview, and yeah, those couple of retirements that will definitely impact your architectural roadmap. What's fascinating here, I think, is the consistent drive towards greater flexibility, security, and operational efficiency across the platform. You'll sort of see that theme woven through all these announcements.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good through line. Let's unpack this then. Maybe start with some significant updates in the database space. That often forms the absolute backbone of our applications. What's standing out for you this week there?
Absolutely. Yeah, databases are key. We're seeing some interesting and, quite frankly, critical developments for both NoSQL and relational databases this week. These aren't just, minor tweaks. They're providing more robust, secure, and flexible options for how you manage and deploy your data.
Okay, let's maybe kick off with NoSQL then. Azure Cosmos DB for MongoDB vCore seems to be, as you said, doubling down on resilience and security. Those are always top concerns for anyone managing mission-critical data, right? What are the standout updates that directly address those areas? And maybe what core problems do they solve for people?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Resilience and security, always key. So first up, we have the general availability of same region replica clusters for Azure Cosmos DB for MongoDB vCore. What this means is you can now create a replica of your primary cluster, but within the same Azure region. It's continuously synchronized, which ensures high data consistency, and it adds a really critical layer of resilience for regional failovers. And importantly, it does this without incurring cross-region latency. So for architectures demanding high availability within a region, this essentially bakes that local redundancy right into the service.
Okay, so that gives a significant boost to HA architectures, doesn't it? It's like built-in local redundancy without needing complex multi-region setups unless you really need them. And what about the security front? Anything new there?
Yep. On the security side, we also have the general availability of encryption with customer managed keys, or CMK, for Cosmos DB for MongoDB vCore. Now, your data is always encrypted at rest with Microsoft managed keys. That's standard. But this update allows organizations with, say, strict compliance or regulatory requirements to add another layer of security using their own keys. This gives you direct control over your encryption strategy, which, as you said, is often non-negotiable for many highly regulated industries. It's really about meeting those stringent data sovereignty and audit needs.
That control is definitely a crucial differentiator for many enterprises.
Okay, interesting. So shifting gears a bit to relational databases. Azure Database from MySQL Flexible Server seems to have some compelling updates, something around modernization and at self-healing. It definitely does. Yeah, a few important things here. For starters, MySQL version 8.4 is now generally available. And this isn't just about, getting the latest shiny features. It's a pretty foundational upgrade. For many organizations, staying on an older version of a core database like MySQL, well, it creates a growing technical debt, doesn't it? You risk performance bottlenecks, security vulnerabilities, and ultimately it can stifle innovation. So this update isn't just a new release number, it's a critical opportunity to future-proof your data layer and maintain a competitive edge by leveraging the newest capabilities for your production workloads.
Makes sense. Stay current, stay secure. And for those who might be on older versions, maybe facing complex migration paths, is there anything to help them manage that update cycle?
Yes, actually, a very important one. Extended support for Azure Database for MySQL Flexible Server. This is planned to begin in spring 2026. And this really changes the strategic planning for upgrade cycles. It gives customers much more flexibility if they perhaps can't immediately upgrade from older end-of-life MySQL versions, maybe due to resource constraints or complex dependencies. So beyond just buying time, it provides a really crucial window to plan and execute those migrations without that immediate reactive pressure. architecture.
Right, that extended support sounds like it offers a real strategic advantage, not just a stopgap. Now, you mentioned something called self-heal. That sounds like it could drastically improve operational efficiency.
Yeah.
What exactly does that entail?
Yes, the self-heal feature, it's now in public preview. And this is, well, it's kind of a glimpse into the future of autonomous cloud operations, I think. Imagine your Azure database for MySQL Flexible Server proactively identifying and resolving common issues like, say, unresponsive instances before they even escalate to a critical incident or require you to even open a support case. This fundamentally shifts the role of an operations team, right? From reactive firefighting to more strategic optimization. It frees up valuable time and resources that would otherwise be spent just troubleshooting. Could be a real game changer for reducing manual intervention and improving uptime.
Wow, okay, so less firefighting, more strategy. That's definitely the goal.
Yeah.
It's clear Azure is heavily investing in database resilience and modernization across the board then. Just to wrap up our database segment, anything new for Azure Database for PostgreSQL Flexible Server this week?
Yeah, just a quick one on PostgreSQL Flexible Server. It's expanding its global footprint. It's now generally available in 2 new regions, Austria East and Chile Central. So this expands the geographic reach, enabling customers to deploy closer to their users in those areas, which of course means lower latency and better adherence to data residency compliance requirements. For global businesses, having these local options is absolutely essential for both performance and regulatory alignment.
Got it. More regions, better local performance and compliance. Okay, that's a comprehensive look at the database updates. Moving beyond databases now, let's shift our focus maybe to how Azure is enhancing our compute options and simplifying identity management. These are, again, core components for pretty much any enterprise application. What's making things more flexible or automated here?
Right, compute and identity. And here's where it gets really interesting for developers and operations teams who are looking for more control and, well, streamlined processes. These updates definitely show Azure's continued commitment to giving you both that flexibility and some powerful automation tools.
Okay, let's start with Azure App Service and Java workloads. I saw an update that could offer some significant cost efficiencies for certain organizations.
You're right, spot on. The Bring Your Own License, BYOL, support for JBoss EAP on Azure App Service is now generally available. This is a really big win for enterprise customers who are already running Java workloads with JBoss Enterprise Application Platform. It offers greater flexibility, obviously, but it can also lead to significant cost savings because it allows them to utilize their existing JBoss licenses rather than, purchasing new ones through Azure. It's about respecting those existing investments and offering licensing choice.
Makes sense. Leverage what you already have. And for Azure Databricks, the focus seems to be squarely on automated identity management.
Exactly. Automatic identity management for Azure Databricks is now generally available. This provides native integration directly with Microsoft Entra ID for automated user provisioning and deprovisioning. So it streamlines those identity lifecycle operations, reduces the manual overhead, definitely, but maybe more critically, it significantly improves your security posture. How? By ensuring users have the right access, or indeed no access, precisely when needed. This really helps reduce the attack surface by enforcing least privilege automatically. Less manual clicking, less room for error.
Automation for better security posture, that's always good. Now, for those demanding workloads needing serious compute power, Azure Virtual Machines seem to be expanding their performance horizons. What new muscle are we getting?
Indeed, yeah, pushing the performance envelope. We've seen the addition of the D192 size to the DSV6 and DSV6 series VM families. These are now generally available. These VMs are powered by the 5th generation Intel Xeon Platinum 8573C processor. That's the Emerald Rapids generation. They offer a new level of high core count compute, really for those demanding scale-up workloads. And just to clarify for our technical listeners, the DSV6 series VMs use Azure Managed Disks only, while the DSV6 series also include local temporary storage. So that gives you flexibility based on your specific storage needs for those intensive tasks.
Right. Options depending on whether you need that fast local temp storage or not. And for those who might prefer AMD, are there new options coming down the pipeline there too?
Yes, absolutely. For those interested in AMD-powered compute, there are new DOS 7, EaseNIBA 7, and Fast 7 series VMs now in private preview. These include general purpose, that's the DOV 7, memory optimized, EaseV7, and compute optimized, Fast 57 series. And they're available both with and without local disk support. Currently, they're available in East US 2, North Europe, and West US 3 regions. So this signals a broader choice in the underlying processor architectures, really letting you optimize for varied workload requirements. This diversification allows you to fine-tune cost and performance for a wider range of applications.
More choice is always good. Okay, so beyond the core compute and database, there were several updates addressing how we manage our environments, store data, and even query complex data sets. For an operations team or maybe a data scientist, these could be pretty impactful, right?
Understood. Yeah, this next section really gets into that question of how can we simplify complex operations and maybe gain deeper, more specialized insights from our data. And these next updates offer some pretty compelling answers, focusing on things like granular control and using industry standard approaches.
Okay, first up, for shared Kubernetes environments, Container Insights within Azure Monitor has a new feature for logging. Sounds critical for multi-team setups.
It really is. Multi-tenant managed logging in Container Insights is now generally available. For organizations operating those shared AKS clusters, this feature allows you to segregate container logs by team. This enables independent management and access control for those logs. This is absolutely critical for improving both security and operational clarity in those complex shared Kubernetes environments. You just can't have one team's logs spilling over or being accessible by another without explicit control, right? It prevents chaos.
Yeah, clear boundaries are essential in shared environments. Azure Files is also apparently making management simpler. That's always welcome, especially when you're dealing with infrastructure as code.
Exactly. Streamlining management is key. Azure Files is introducing a file share-centric management model using Microsoft.FileShares. This is now in public preview. What this new model does is make file shares top-level resources in Azure, just like VMs or databases. The benefit here is a significantly simplified experience for creating and managing file shares. It makes them much easier to integrate directly into your ARM templates and your automation scripts for consistent deployment and management at scale. It's a big step towards treating file shares like other first-class Azure resources, which they really are for many applications.
Treating them as first-class citizens, that makes sense for automation. And finally, for those working with complex data relationships, trying to extract deeper meaning, Azure Data Explorer and Microsoft Fabric are getting a significant update in graph data exploration.
This is a powerful one, yeah, especially for advanced analytics use cases. We're seeing graph query language, GQL support, and KQL graph semantics. This is now in public preview. This aligns with the ISO standard for GQL, and it allows you to run GQL queries directly on Fabric Event House or Azure Data Explorer. This is a really significant step for working with graph data. It provides an industry-standard way to query relationships and patterns within your data sets, which is crucial for areas like, say, fraud detection, social network analysis, or maybe supply chain optimization. It just opens up a whole new dimension for data exploration beyond traditional tables.
Right, using the right tool, or language in this case, for the job when dealing with connected data. Okay, now, it's not just about what's new. It's also crucial to be aware of what's, well, evolving out of the platform so we can plan accordingly. We have 2 key retirements announced this week that you should probably factor into your roadmap.
That's a really important point. If we connect this to the bigger picture, retirements often signal a strategic shift, maybe towards more performant, secure, or consolidated services. They're not just things disappearing usually. They typically evolve into better alternatives or get integrated into a more comprehensive offering. It's really about platform maturation, you know?
Okay, so evolution, not just removal. Let's start with Microsoft Playwright testing. What's happening there?
Right. Microsoft Playwright testing, which has been in preview for a while, will be retired on March 8th, 2026. But as you hinted, this isn't really a loss of capability, it's more of a consolidation. Its features are now becoming part of Azure App Testing. That's a unified service that also includes Azure Load Testing. So the move is designed to help developers and QA teams run their large-scale functional and performance tests, but from a single integrated platform. Think of it as an evolution into a more comprehensive, streamlined testing offering rather than having a separate standalone preview service.
Okay, so integrated testing capabilities under one roof. Makes sense. And for storage, something important for long-term architectural planning. OS disks on standard HDD. What's the story?
Yes, this one has a longer timeline, but it's important. Operating system disks on standard HDD will be retired on September 8th, 2028. This retirement is really part of an ongoing commitment from Azure to improve customer experience and align with future investments in disk performance and reliability. While standard HDDs have served a purpose, especially for cost-sensitive scenarios in the past, this signals a clear move away from that lower-tiered disk storage specifically for OS disks. It strongly encourages the use of more performant options like standard SSDs or premium SSDs for your operating system. Now, you have a long runway, right? until September 2028. But it's definitely important to factor this into your long-term architecture planning. You should probably consider migrating to more robust disk types during your next natural upgrade cycle to ensure optimal performance and reliability for your VMs going forward.
Okay, long lead time, but a clear signal towards better performance for OS disks. Good to know. Wow, that was a truly packed week for Azure updates then. We've covered changes touching almost every part of the cloud stack, from enhanced database resilience and flexible compute options to uh, refined management tools and those crucial planning changes with retirements.
Indeed, it was a busy week, and we've consistently seen that theme we mentioned earlier, haven't we? Increasing security, offering greater flexibility in how you manage your resources and licenses, and that strong drive towards more autonomous and efficient operations. I think the introduction of self-healing for MySQL and the automatic identity management for Databricks are particularly noteworthy steps in that direction. They automate tasks that traditionally consumed significant operational time and effort.
Absolutely. So considering all these shifts and the new capabilities we've discussed, what does this all mean for you, our listener? What should you be thinking about?
That's the key question, isn't it? Given the breadth of these updates, everything from security enhancements like customer managed keys for Cosmos DB, the push for more performant compute, to the strategic move away from lower-tier storage for OS disks and the consolidation of testing services. A key question for you to perhaps ponder is, how are you proactively integrating these new capabilities? And maybe just as importantly, how are you planning for these upcoming retirements? The goal is to ensure your cloud architecture is not just robust and compliant today, but that it's truly future-proofed and optimized for tomorrow's evolving demands. That planning window for these changes, especially the retirements, is really crucial for maintaining both efficiency and security in your cloud estate long term.